on how to create easy and simple Warhammer 40,000 bases from basically nothing. So first you're going to need a little bit of cardboard that's sort of strong, and this will be a little tool. You're going to be making your own house-made tool. So here, that way you can apply stuff like this. For example, if I have a base, then I can go like this rather than having to use a large paintbrush. It is far more useful, and if it gets dirty, it will not give you hell with its bristles. So, first, I'm going to be doing some nice moon terrain. You will need some acrylic craft paints. You can get this for like €2. Black and white. So, you're going to need like a little, I guess, Q-tip top, or in this case, this is just my toothpick top, but you get some of this and you just pour it in. Don't do too much, okay? We're not doing craft. You just need to cover a small amount of space and a nice sort of color that you like with the moon sort of area, or mainly just like a gray area. This is good for. It's not coming out. There we go. Okay, so I've got a pretty much even black and white. Then you should get a toothpick. Mix this around until you get a nice gray color. So, like this. My gray color is not too nice yet. I'm going to go for a light gray this time. I went for a dark gray on these guys. My bikers. And they're not really dark gray, but compared to my other models, they are, because I went for a sort of like a muddy World War I sort of terrain for those guys, and you can see that here. Let me just get one of them. There we go. So like this. It's a different sort of terrain. Now, what you're going to need to do after this, put your toothpick in the water. You should have some water nearby. Get some sand, okay? Just get any type of sand. You can go down to the beach if you have one near you, but if you don't, there's usually sand or just a sort of like that sort of textured thing quite near you. So, and just collect like a container of it, and you should be fine. So here, put the amount of sand into the texture that you would like. So I put in maybe like a 40% sand ratio. However, you can expand that or decrease that however you will like. So now we will get the tool that we just created. I just need to find that tool that we just made. Hey, where'd it go? Here we go. You mix it with the big side. Try and get all the sand into that nice, until it becomes like a nice, like chunky terrain mixed parts of gray acrylic paint. Then you start applying it to the base. Like this. The reason why you're making your own cardboard tools is because Citadel, the company that creates the Warhammer brushes and paints, they have their own thing, except that costs like €6. So if you don't want to invest too much into it and you don't have a large budget, like me, then this thing is pretty useful. Sure, it will get a little bit more messy, but I mean, the base doesn't really matter that much if it's just like getting it messy on their shoes, because I mean, after all, they are kind of walking through it, so it's meant to be getting a little messy on them. But just remember not to leave any spots where the spots undone where the light doesn't go. The good thing about using acrylic paint or craft paint over other sorts of mixtures is that without the sand, it can get far more than it would with out the sand on other types of paints. So there we go. Did the first base. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all the bases. You don't have to look for that. All right, so now I've got the brush option. This is if you do not want to do it by the cardboard from before. You just get a brush. You mix it the same way that I mixed it before. Get, I guess, a prettier, although it might show brush strokes, but that's okay. So, see, I'm trying to get in between there. Okay, so now I'm all done with this. Now it's time to teach you how to do the base rims. A base rim is usually something on the outside of the base once it's finished drying. The color I usually pick is either black or another color, which is the Tamiya Dark Sea Gray, which is useful because I have a lot of it. So that's easy to do. So what you're going to need to do is open up the paint. All right. Wait, no, I better shake it. Oh, Jesus, it's really stinky. So, once you've thinned it down with your water, of course, close the paint, smart one. Don't leave it open. And then what you're going to need to do is pick up the miniature by the actual miniature and just drag it along the outside of the base in this sort of fashion, like this. Make sure that's quite thinned down because it's a flat surface, and thin down paint will work best on very flat surfaces. Although I recommend doing this once it has dried, because if you do not do it once it has dried, and especially if you're doing two widely different colors, it will result in a mess, and that is not good for your base. You want it to look nice, clean, and orderly. So almost done with this one. Now, if you run out of paint, it's always okay to open back up the bottle, get some more. Okay, all finished here. Now we just leave them to dry. Thank you for watching FonkeMonke. And, of course, remember the shout-outs. And if you want to watch more, comment and exactly what you want to learn on. For example, paints, a different type of base. We will do it for you. So, yeah, that's FonkeMonke.